Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is another day in Call of Duty, and that means there's a strong chance that there was another random update, and indeed there was. Overnight, we actually got a small title update for Modern Warfare and Warzone, and it wasn't anything major. It was literally like a 1 gig patch, I believe, on all platforms. Super small. There were no patch notes or anything that came out. In fact, the only real thing that we saw from this update is that the whole lobby menu changed, like the background screen changed, right? But it would appear that's not the only thing that changed in this update. The RAAL LMG, the last missing Modern Warfare weapon, has actually finally been added into the game. So today we're going over the best way to unlock the RAAL in the fastest way possible, and also the best class setup and the best loadout for it for Warzone as well. So if you enjoyed the video or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you are new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, feel free to do so. We are on the road to 800K, and by hitting that sub button, you'll always stay up to date with everything going on in COD. So we're here in Modern Warfare multiplayer, and as you can see, the whole background like lobby has changed. We have the numbers floating around, so sort of hinting at the numbers event coming up here soon. But if we go ahead and we move on into our weapons here, we can see that if we go into the LMG category and scroll all the way down, we've got the RAAL LMG. Now, we've played with this before when it was actually glitched into Warzone as ground loot and chest loot, so we know part of what this weapon is like. Slow firing, heavy hitting LMG. And as far as unlocking it goes, the challenge here is get 5 kills in 7 different matches while using LMGs equipped with a scout optic. So you can go into Modern Warfare multiplayer, use any of these LMGs. Honestly, for MP, the Bruin is pretty good. So is the Holger, honestly, because you can use it sort of as like a rifle. But you can use any of these LMGs. But the main thing you want to focus on is making sure you have that scout optic on there. And really, it's as simple as using the scout combat optic on there. It gives you that 3.25 times magnification. Not the worst optic in the world, not the best optic in the world. You can always go through and change it if you want, if you have various reticles for it. Unlock the T-pose is honestly super clean, so I'll probably be running that, you know. But as far as like multiplayer goes, build this to be fast, build it to be quick. You can run around and just fry with this thing real quick, and you know, get your 5 kills in a match, back out, rinse and repeat. What do we have for playlists actually? So we got shoot the ship. That would make things super easy. You just run into this. Ideally you get shipment because it'll be way quicker and way easier, but shoot house or shipment, drop in, get 5 kills, back out, rinse and repeat until you have the RAAL LMG unlocked. Honestly, a super simple challenge. Modern Warfare weapons have always been very easy to unlock and especially easy to level up, so it won't take too much to actually go ahead and unlock this thing. But we also, of course, have to talk about the best setup for it. Now, conveniently enough, if you go into Modern Warfare private match, you can just go ahead and select any weapon in the game and you'll have everything automatically unlocked, just because that's how the game works, I guess. So even though I don't have it unlocked, it's still super easy to build the setup here. And because it's a Modern Warfare weapon, the setups are always super straightforward. However, the RAAL actually has quite a few very unique attachments, right? So first off, of course, we want to be using a muzzle and a barrel, and it's very straightforward here as always on Modern Warfare weapons. We want that monolithic suppressor, but in this case, that is called the RAAL Monocore. It actually ends up keeping that sound suppression on there, and it increases the damage range, so it's essentially the monolithic suppressor. It does hurt your ADS and your aim walking steadiness a bit, but that's definitely the go-to for the muzzle category. As far as the barrel goes, you have a few different options. The first barrel is going to be like that medium barrel for all Modern Warfare weapons, some added range, some added velocity. The middle barrel here, the line breaker, is going to be the longest barrel, better range, better control, and better velocity. That's what we're going to go for a range setup. But you also have the trifold light barrel, which is actually going to increase that ADS speed, so you can make this a lot more aggressive, but it's a slow firing LMG. I don't really think there's a huge reason to go ahead and do that. So we're just going to go with the line breaker. Now, another thing that the RAAL has is this custom underbarrel, the FFS Oblique, which actually helps with the recoil control and the ADS speed. This is very similar to the snatch grip that we see on the PKM. That's probably what I would end up recommending here. The recoil on the RAAL, at least from when we used it before, really wasn't too bad. And because it is slower firing, it's relatively easy to maintain. But this is going to help some with the ADS speed too, which you don't really complain about when it comes to an LMG, right? It will hurt the movement speed a bit, but you're not really going for movement speed on an LMG. You're going to have something like a Mac 10 or like an MP5 or some other faster secondary weapon, an OTS on here as well to sort of counter that. You're not going to be running around with this thing in your hands constantly. It's meant for those medium and those longer range engagements. I wouldn't use the base iron sights on this thing. I would go for an optic. Again, we can go for some of the basic ones here. The VOK 3 times with the T-pose is probably what I'm going to like resort to by default, just because it's a scope that I'm comfortable with and I'm familiar with. You could try and go for a blue dot hollow sight or just the basic hollow sight if you're comfortable with that sight. However, the RAAL does also have this this one special one. I believe it's this one, the Solo Zero K498 integral sight, which actually provides you that range that we sort of had back on the initial RAAL variant and blueprint that we had in game where you could see how far away you were from other players. I believe it's that one because none of these other ones seem to fit the description. These are all basic sights that we always have on every gun. But for what it's worth, I'd probably go VLK 3 times. And like I said, I'm going to run the T-pose on that just because I'm comfortable and familiar with that. And then when it comes to the last attachment, you've got plenty of room to work with. It comes based with a large magazine. You're not going to have to worry about constantly reloading, but if you wanted it to be a bit faster, you could go ahead and throw on the 50-round belt. It's going to help with ADS speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and reload quickness. But obviously you have half as many bullets as you would before compared to when you have to reload. I wouldn't ever run the 150-round belt, not necessary by any means, but if you wanted a faster version of the weapon, the 50-round belt could be semi-viable there because it's going to end up having that faster reload and you're going to feel a bit more agile. But like I said, we're not always focused on mobility with an LMG. The tac laser wouldn't be a bad option. This is something I run on my Bruin setup quite a bit, so I think that might be my go-to for like a core 5th attachment. However, stocks also super useful here. The folded stock I probably wouldn't use for Warzone because it's going to hurt with the recoil control unless you were trying to build it like an SMG or like a fast AR for whatever reason. But you could try and go ahead and use like the Elevate stock for a better ADS, but I don't think that's like enough of a pro to counter that over a tac laser. You could go for like the Stippy Grippy, but again, I feel like the tac laser is really your most beneficial option here because you get the better ADS. You also get some steadiness over range as well, which makes it easier to stay on target. So overall, this is what I would say would be my recommended setup for the RAAL monocore muzzle, the line breaker barrel, the oblique underbarrel, the tac laser, and the VLK 3 times optic. A good mix of, you know, getting better range and better velocity on this thing while not destroying the mobility or destroying the control on it as well. It's going to be relatively easy to use with all the control benefits that we have here. And of course, it's going to be great for those medium and longer range fights. It's going to fill that void in that LMG category very, very well in my opinion. Obviously, we saw what it could do before. It was a pretty consistent LMG. It's going to take some getting used to because it is a very slow firing weapon, but it does hit like a truck. It's very powerful. And if you're looking to sort of spice up your medium and long range gameplay, this is going to be an option that I could see quite a few people trying out. Obviously, it's going to bring that power. If you combine it with like the Combat Scout perk, you could wall bang players for days with this thing. So it'll be fun to use this in game. Isn't going to be more meta than say the Farah or the you know, C58, the EM2, more ranged weapons like that. Only time is going to tell. Because it's an LMG, I feel like people are naturally going to go away from it just because it is slower and heavier and more awkward to use. But nonetheless, the RAAL is officially here. Finally, it is introduced into Warzone in Modern Warfare. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to do so. That way you can always stay up to date with absolutely everything going on in COD. Once again, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.